Have you ever thought that not all people with poor hygiene are lazy? Narcissistic abuse victims struggle to maintain good hygiene.
You lack personal hygiene, you understand that?
The reasons can be pretty eye-opening, and they usually boil down to how the abuse affects someone's mental health. We'll break down these reasons and offer practical tips to help tackle these challenges, including statements from experts like psychologists. Are you ready for the number one reason? Low self-esteem. When someone's gone through narcissistic abuse, their self-esteem can drop low. It makes basic things like taking a shower feel overwhelming. If you've been told you're not worth the effort, you might start believing it, and self-care can become a distant memory. Experts like Dr. Christine Courtois and Dr. Jonas Webb say that when you feel worthless, you might neglect yourself because you don't think you deserve it. To turn things around, start by challenging these negative thoughts. Try setting small goals like daily reminders for hygiene or treating yourself to something nice. Did you know that maintaining good hygiene can boost your confidence and overall well-being? Keep this in mind. Building self-esteem takes time, so be patient and take it step by step. Let's move on to number 2. Depression. When you're dealing with depression after narcissistic abuse, your motivation level drops. Even basic hygiene tasks can feel as tough as running a marathon. Depression can drain your energy so much that self-care, which used to be easy, now seems overwhelming. You're not lazy. It's just that depression is weighing you down, and even getting up from bed is hard. Dr. Andrew Solomon, writer and lecturer on psychology, says depression feels like dragging around a suitcase full of bricks, making everything feel harder. Working with a therapist and using techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can help you manage these feelings and improve your self-care routine. What small steps can you take today to lighten your load and make self-care feel more manageable? Now let's talk about number 3, anxiety. When anxiety kicks in because of narcissistic abuse, even the simplest things like brushing your teeth can start to feel like a mountain to climb. Picture yourself looking at your toothbrush and feeling like it's this huge, daunting task while your brain is bombarded with worries and endless what-if questions. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn explains that when anxiety takes over, your mind is in overdrive, making everything seem much bigger and scarier than it actually is. Listen closely. To make these tasks feel more manageable, try breaking them down into smaller steps. Instead of thinking about the whole routine at once, focus on one thing at a time, like putting on clean clothes first. Once that's done, move on to the next step, like brushing your teeth. By chopping tasks into bite-sized pieces, you can tackle them without feeling overwhelmed and make your day feel a little more doable. Moving on to number 4, isolation. When you're isolated after dealing with narcissistic abuse, keeping up with good hygiene can feel tough. Without people around to remind you or give you a little nudge, it's like being stuck in a room with no clock. No one is there to remind you that it's time to take a shower or brush your teeth. Dr. Sherry Hamby points out that being alone means you miss out on those gentle reminders from friends and family that help keep you on top of your self-care routine. Let me teach you something. Try scheduling some virtual meetups or phone calls with people you trust. Just talking with others can give you a bit of that social encouragement you're missing. It's like bringing a few friendly reminders into your day, even if it's just through a screen or over the phone. These connections can help you feel less isolated and make it easier to stick to your hygiene routine. Let's continue with number 5, guilt and shame. Guilt and shame can impact your hygiene when you're dealing with narcissistic abuse. It's like carrying an invisible "I'm a mess" sign that makes you feel unworthy of self-care. Instead of taking a shower, you might think, "Why bother? I already feel like a disaster." Dr. Brené Brown says that guilt and shame often make people withdraw and avoid anything that might make them feel worse. Every missed hygiene routine can pile on more guilt, reinforcing the feeling that you don't deserve to feel clean or refreshed. Please take note of this. Keeping a journal can help you work through these feelings of guilt and shame and see how they affect your self-care. Here's number 6, psychosomatic symptoms. When you've been through narcissistic abuse, the psychosomatic symptoms are at work. Your stress isn't just in your head, it's making you feel physically exhausted. It can make even simple things like showering feel incredibly tough. It's not just mental. Your body also gets weighed down by the stress. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn says that extreme stress can cause fatigue and muscle tension, making everything seem overwhelming. To overcome this, try light activities like stretching or gentle yoga to ease muscle tension and boost your energy. It can make daily tasks feel a bit more manageable. Are you still up for number 7? Dependency. When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you might end up so focused on getting their approval that you forget to take care of your own needs, like having a proper shower. It's kind of like waiting for a special pass to get into a VIP area that never actually arrives. So you end up feeling like self-care is something you're not allowed to enjoy. Dr. Patricia Evans, a psychologist, explains that this dependency makes you feel like you need the narcissist's permission to look after yourself. To break free from this, start working on building your self-worth and becoming more independent. Think of it like learning to take care of yourself without needing someone else's approval. Expressing your needs to others can also help reinforce your self-care, like having a conversation where you make it clear that your well-being matters. By doing this, you'll begin to reclaim your own space and prioritize your needs, making self-care feel more accessible and less like a luxury reserved for others. Let's talk about number 8, hypervigilance. When you're dealing with narcissistic abuse, hypervigilance can make daily hygiene routines feel impossible. It's like being on constant high alert, where every sound or movement makes you jump, leaving little energy for simple tasks like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk explains that this constant state of stress can drain your mental energy, making basic self-care seem overwhelming. To help manage this, try using grounding objects like a small stone or stress ball to help you stay present and reduce stress, and adjust your self-care routine to fit your needs. Let's proceed to number 9, disrupted sleep. Disrupted sleep can impair your hygiene routine, especially after narcissistic abuse. If you're tossing and turning all night and can't get a good rest, you might feel like a zombie the next day. Dr. Matthew Walker explains that poor sleep drains your energy, making even simple tasks like taking a shower feel exhausting. To overcome this, start by making your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet with blackout curtains or white noise to improve your sleep and make self-care easier. On top of that, try to fight negative thoughts and patterns that the narcissist has painted in your mind so you can sleep in peace. Finally, we're down to the last reason, fear of judgment. Fear of judgment can affect your hygiene, especially if you've dealt with narcissistic abuse. It's like being so worried about what others think that you skip out on basic self-care, almost like trying to hide from the paparazzi in a messy bathroom. Dr. Kristen Neff says this fear can make you avoid taking care of yourself because you're too focused on others' opinions. To get through this, face your fears directly, like standing up to a bully. It takes away some of its power. Being kind to yourself and practicing self-compassion can make self-care feel less overwhelming and more manageable. There are several reasons why those affected by narcissistic abuse have poor hygiene, but they all stem from psychological issues as a result of the abuse. When your mind is not functioning well, your body is also affected. As a result, physical hygiene seems like a burdensome task. Listen closely. If you're struggling with poor hygiene due to narcissistic abuse, know that you are not alone, and it's okay to ask for help.